An astonishing discovery has sent shockwaves through the archaeological community. The long-lost gate believed to be the entrance to the legendary Garden of Eden has been found. This revelation has ignited a frenzy among scholars, adventurers, and curious souls. Join us today as we dive into this extraordinary video to uncover the secrets and mysteries beyond this ancient gateway. The Garden of Eden is a heavenly paradise described in Genesis and other biblical texts. Its exact location is uncertain, with theories suggesting it could be in the Persian Gulf or Mesopotamia. In the story, Adam and Eve lived innocently and freely roamed the garden. Eden is connected to ancient myths and represents a perfect paradise. References to Eden can be found in other Bible passages. Some Christians view Eden as a timeless reality that influenced the universe's history, separated by the atemporal fall. This concept is supported by theologians and draws inspiration from early church fathers. History. In the creation story, God prepared the Garden of Eden as the home for Adam, the first man. He made vegetation and watered it with a mist. He planted two important trees, the tree of life and the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Adam was tasked with caring for the garden and was forbidden to eat from the tree of knowledge. Adam couldn't find a suitable companion among the animals, so God created a woman for him. Cherubim were appointed to guard the garden. However, Adam and Eve disobeyed God by eating the forbidden fruit, deceived by Satan in the form of a serpent. Consequently, they were expelled from the garden, with cherubim and a flaming sword guarding the entrance. The exact layout of the garden is unknown, but it likely had hills and 4 river valleys. The presence of the flaming sword suggests a guarded and inaccessible paradise. Proposed locations and geography. The proposed location of the Garden of Eden has been debated and speculated for centuries. According to Genesis 2:10-14, a river flowed out of Eden and was divided into 4 heads. The first river mentioned is Pishon, which encompassed the land of Havilah, known for its gold, bdellium, and onyx stone. The second river is Gihon, which surrounds the land of Cush. The third river is Tigris, which flows east of Asher, and the fourth is Euphrates. Various suggestions have been put forward regarding the location of the Garden of Eden. Some believe it could be found at the head of the Persian Gulf, where the Tigris and Euphrates rivers meet the sea. Others argue for the Armenian highlands or the Armenian National Plateau. British archaeologist David Roll suggests Iran, specifically near Tabriz, but scholars do not widely accept this view. Interestingly, different religious groups have proposed their own localities for the garden. Early leaders of Mormonism believed it was situated in Jackson County, Missouri. The Panacea Society in the 20th century claimed it was in Bedford, England, and preacher L.V.E. Calloway believed it could be found near the Apalachicola River in Florida. There have even been suggestions that Jerusalem could be the location of the Garden of Eden. During his third voyage to the Americas in 1498, Christopher Columbus thought he had reached the earthly paradise upon seeing the South American mainland. In the biblical narrative, God planted a garden in Eden, also known as the Paradise Zone. Although the garden was located in Eden, the two are not synonymous. Eden means paradise, and the garden itself was situated within this paradise region. It is uncertain whether Eden was exclusively the garden, or if it encompassed a larger area beyond it. Based on subsequent usage of the term, it is believed that Eden extended eastwards towards the direction of the morning sunlight. At the time when humanity was expelled from the Garden of Eden through the Eastern Gate, the directions were calculated with the east as the starting point. The garden was likely situated in the geographical center of the earth. When God commanded people to populate and rule the globe, mankind stood at the top of the world, with the entire creation laid out before them. A significant river flowed out of Eden, which was either an elevated plateau or a mountain. This river then split into 4 smaller rivers downstream. These 4 rivers include the Pishon, which flowed through the gold-rich Havilah region, and the Gihon, which passed through the province of Cush. The Tigris, also known as the Hiddekel, ran through the eastern Asher region, while the Euphrates River was enormous in size. The territories associated with the first 2 rivers, Havilah and Cush, are located to the south, while the headwaters of the Euphrates lie to the north. The Tigris runs through the eastern area. Due to the immense reshaping of the planet caused by the Great Flood, it is impossible to determine the precise location of Eden. However, humanity likely settled in an area close to where it all began. As a result, the two rivers that run along either side of the plain of Shinar were named after the largest rivers mentioned in Noah's Chronicles, which he passed down to his descendants. By the providence of God, this particular region is situated in close proximity to the geographic center of the Earth's landmass, the legacy and Holy Temple. When God wanted to communicate with his people, he instructed them to build a special dwelling place where he would reveal himself. This dwelling was a grand tent adorned with items that reminded them of Eden. The most striking symbols were the golden cherubim placed inside and around the inner chamber of the tent. These cherubim represented the guardians of the garden and its precious trees. The Ark of the Covenant, stored within the tent, held the 10 Commandments, a confirmation of God's knowledge of good and evil. Although the commandments were well known, the tablets and their container were considered sacred and not to be touched. Outside the inner chamber, 2 golden angels conversed with each other on top of the ark's blue draperies. Other symbols, such as the lampstand and the table for the bread of the presence, were visible from outside the curtain but not accessible to everyone. These represented everlasting life and served as a constant reminder of the tree of life. The lamps burned continuously, symbolizing divine presence. Eventually, the tent gave way to a permanent structure called the temple. While David had built a tent for the ark, Solomon, David's son, constructed the temple. The temple stood for about 500 years before being destroyed and later rebuilt. It was larger than the tent but contained the same components. Inside the temple's inner sanctuary, known as the Holy of Holies, stood enormous statues of cherubim with spread-out wings facing east. This accurately depicted the cherubim that had guarded the entrance to Eden from the east. The temple's walls were adorned with carvings of cherubim and palm trees, reminiscent of the lush and exotic atmosphere of the original garden. The legacy of the Holy Temple carried the symbolism of Eden and God's presence among his people. It served as a tangible reminder of the connection between humanity and the divine and the eternal life promised in the garden, heaven and Jerusalem. After the earthly Jerusalem was destroyed for the second time, the glory of God was taken to reside in heaven. The Ark of the Covenant and the Tree of Life found their safe haven there, protected from destruction. In the final days, when the day of judgment comes, God's people will dwell where he dwells. This eternal dwelling place of Yahweh among his people will be a magnificent and vast cube known as the City of God or the New Jerusalem. The oceans will be replaced by rivers, and the Tree of Life will multiply into many trees. Over the years, scholars have debated whether the Garden of Eden was a real place or a myth. Genesis mentions 4 rivers connected to the Garden of Eden: the Tigris, Euphrates, Gihon, and Pishon. The challenge lies in pinpointing the exact locations of Gihon and Pishon. Archaeologists face the additional obstacles of landscape changes over time and the absence of man-made structures in the garden. Archaeologist Joni Bagnes proposes a solution to the mystery. She suggests that Adam's resting place is either Calvary or Golgotha, where Jesus was crucified. According to her hypothesis, Adam's resurrection occurred when Jesus' blood touched him. This connection implies that the Garden of Eden was near Golgotha and possibly located in Mesopotamia, with a close relationship to Jerusalem. While the search for the precise location of the Garden of Eden continues, Bagnes's theory provides an intriguing possibility, linking Golgotha, Adam's resurrection, and the garden's proximity. So, what do you think of the gate to the Garden of Eden that has been found? Comment below and subscribe for more.